Hi, this is Brett from SRmoto, and I wanted to do a project bike update video for our 2021 Honda CRF300L dual sport project bike. A couple months back, I did our first update and kind of went around the bike and talked about the first round of mods that we did to the bike. And a couple months have gone by, we've ridden the bike a little bit more and we've done a few more things to it. So I thought it'd be a good time to do a quick update video and go around the bike again and talk about some of these new parts and accessories that we've installed. I'm not going to talk about the products that we installed on that first update, but what I will do is I'll put a link in the video description down below to that first project bike update video. So if you want to go back and watch that, you can do that. So I'm just going to kind of talk about some of the new stuff that we've installed on the bike here just recently. All the parts that I talk about in this video are going to work on a 2021 and up Honda CRF300L. Both the standard model like we've got here, and then most of the stuff will also work on the CRF300 Rally as well. And again, I'll put some links in the video description to that previous project bike update, and then I'll also link you over to our online store where all of these parts and accessories are available for purchase, and also put a link to our blog where you can get more details on this project bike. So once you're done watching the video, check that video description for all of that info. So what I'll do is I'll kind of walk around the bike and talk about some of these new things we've done to it. I'll start out with the changes we've made to the lights on the bike. In that previous update video, we still had the stock tail light on it, stock turn signals, and stuff like that. So we've kind of changed all that now and added some aftermarket stuff, so I'll talk about that first. At the back of the bike, got rid of that big ugly stock taillight assembly, and we've installed 12 O'Clock Labs integrated taillight kit and fender eliminator, and I'll demonstrate how this stuff works here in a second. This is kind of what it looks like on the bike, and I think we're going to have a separate video on the channel that kind of goes more in depth on this, so I'm just going to kind of demonstrate how it works real quick. So that's what we've done at the rear of the bike. And then in the front, we got rid of the stock front turn signals, which used to be mounted up there to the side of the headlight. And we've done the integrated turn signals and running lights in the Zeta Armor handguards. So that's kind of what we did, for front turn signals. So let me turn the ignition on. Give a quick demo on this. So this is what the tail light looks like as a running light. It's got a built-in license plate light on the bottom. Super bright LEDs. Gives you a mounting point, obviously mounting for the license plate and everything. Bolts right up to the subframe. Real easy plug and play installation. It's specifically made for this bike. So it's super simple install. So that's what it looks like, in running light mode. Let me show you what the brake light looks like. When you hit your brakes, you'll notice it pulses the brake light every time I hit the brakes. That's built in. It's a safety brake pulsing feature. You can disable that if you want. It's a fully programmable tail light, and the instructions kind of walk you through how to disable that feature if you don't like it. I tend to leave it on all my bikes. I think it's an important safety feature for cars coming up behind you to be able to see that you're on your brakes. So that's what it looks like with the brake light. Now let me turn the turn signals on. Again, we're running it as an integrated taillight kit, so the turn signals are going to flash right within the taillight. There's like 7 different programmable flash types you can do. I'm using, I believe this is called the scrolling flash. But there's like 6 other different turn signal flash types you can do. There's like a standard flash, a chase flash, a couple others, and it's all fully programmable. The instructions tell you how to change it, so you can really customize the way you want this to look. So we've removed the stock rear turn signals. and the taillight comes with these little block off plates to cover up the holes. You can run this taillight kit though if you want with the stock turn signals. You can just leave them, you know, bolted up to the side and wired into the turn signal wires up under the fender, and you just would leave the integrated turn signal wires coming out of this taillight disconnected, and it would disable that feature, you know, if you want your stock signals to work. You could also mount up aftermarket LEDs, you know, smaller LED turn signals to the side of this if you want. So there's several different ways you could go with this taillight. But for now, we've decided to run it as the integrated taillight. So that's what the taillight looks like. Now in the front, again, we're running using the Zeta Armor handguards, and they have an optional integrated turn signal feature that's built right into the plastic protector. So that's what we're using. And you'll notice on the other side, it's on as a running light. You know, the CRF300L does come from the factory with front turn signals that are on as running lights. If you want your aftermarket turn signals to continue to work as running lights like we've got here, we also sell the 12 O'Clock Labs running light adapter that gets wired in with these front turn signals, and it'll make them work, you know, both as running lights and then also as turn signals. I always do that. I think the more lights on the front of the bike, the better, you know, for visibility on the road. So I recommend that running light adapter. It also makes it a little easier to wire in the turn signals because the running light adapters come with the Honda connector plugs already pre-installed. One other thing that we've got installed is a 12 O'Clock Labs fixed rate turn signal flasher. It's a little plug and play module that plugs in up under I think it's down by the rear brake reservoir is where the little plug is. But it'll make these LED turn signals flash slower instead of hyper flashing. If we didn't have that fixed rate flasher installed, these would be hyper flashing. So we always install that fixed rate flasher. So that's what we're doing for front turn signals. I can't remember in the previous video, the update video, if we had the Cyclops LED headlight bulb installed, but we have replaced the stock halogen bulb with a much brighter Cyclops LED headlight bulb, which is direct replacement for that stock halogen. Just much brighter, provides, you know, more lighting, you know, if you ride at night and stuff, and it's like a whiter color instead of that yellow that you get out of the stock halogen bulb. So that's a Cyclops LED headlight bulb. You'll also notice that where the stock front turn signals used to be mounted, we're now, we wanted some auxiliary LED lighting on the front of the bike for a couple different reasons. First off, to make the bike, you know, a little bit more visible going down the road. You know, these dual sport bikes, in my opinion, are some of the harder bikes to see on the road, you know, because they're so small and they're so narrow. You know, cars have trouble seeing these. So I think the more lights on the front of the bike, the better. So we wanted some bright LEDs. And then also, you know, if we go out after dark and we're riding on the street or on the trail, you know, the more LEDs, the better to light up the road and the trail around you. So what we did is we installed these Denali DM LED lights and ended up working out real nicely. We mounted them up to where the stock turn signals were mounted using 12 O'Clock Labs LED flasher plates to mount them up. They're bolted directly to those, and you can adjust them, you know, up and down, side to side. Now, these are real high-end LED lights. You'll see them on a lot of adventure bikes. Fully waterproof construction. You know, you can basically submerge these things in water, and they're, you know, the housings are completely waterproof. They're made out of a corrosion-proof material. They're not going to rust or fade or anything. Wiring harness is completely waterproof. These have a real nice feature, they call it their tri-optic lens system. You know, you get in the package, you get a couple different lenses that come with these, and you can swap the lenses in and out to sort of customize the beam pattern that comes out of the lights. You can do like a spot beam, which is like a beam that's narrower and goes further down the trail. They have a flood beam option, which kind of spreads the light out a little farther to the sides. And then they kind of have a hybrid mode, which is kind of in between. And to do that, like I said, all you do is swap out the lenses that come with these. So that's a real nice feature. You can get them in the clear lenses like we've got here. They also have amber as an option as well. And you basically get a pair of them, and then you get a handlebar on-off switch. I'll turn them on here. It's kind of hard to tell what they look like on camera, but they're super bright. So we're basically running them, you know, either as full bright like they are now, or if we turn that handlebar switch off, you know, they're completely off. One other option that you can get with these, they call it their dual density and controller, and we're definitely going to add that to this bike because in my opinion, at full bright, these things are just too bright. I've had a couple cars flash me out on the road. So full bright, I think you're probably only going to want to use that at night when there's no oncoming traffic, you know, and especially like off-road when you just want the maximum amount of light. Otherwise, I've just been running with them off, you know, when I'm in traffic. But if you have that dual density controller, that's wired in with the lights, and then your stock high-low beam switch will control the brightness. So when you have your standard low beams on, the lights would be at half intensity. So they'd be a little less bright than this, which I think would be fine for riding in traffic, still make you nice and visible to oncoming traffic. Then if you hit your brights, they would be at full bright like they are now. So we're definitely going to do that. I highly recommend that dual density controller if you go with these. So if you want some auxiliary LED lights on your bike, definitely check out these Denali DMs. I think they work nicely on the CRF300L. So that's pretty much all we've done with the lights on the bike since the last update. Let me turn that off. Talk about some of the other stuff. Handlebars and handguards. On the last update video, we still had the stock handlebars on it, and we were running Zeta Armor handguards, so you can watch that previous update video to get details on the handguards and stuff if you want to stick with your stock bars. But if you want to upgrade handlebars, you know, you could do, you know, aftermarket 7/8 inch bars if you want, like Pro Taper SEs. We wanted to do oversized 1 1/8 inch bars. So we did the Pro Taper Contour handlebars in the CR mid bend. And then we're using these Pro Taper universal handlebar mounts to basically convert the stock lower bar mount, which is a 7/8 inch, to the oversized. So basically these Pro Taper mounts just sit down in those stock lower bar mounts and enable you to install the oversized 1 1/8 inch handlebars. So we're doing the CR mid bend. Just as an FYI, some people aren't aware of this, but an oversized bar like this, it's only going to be oversized over where it mounts up. It tapers back down to 7/8, so that way you can still mount all your controls and everything. So it basically does away with the cross brace, gives you a little bit stronger handlebar, and you've got more surface area on the handlebar to work with as far as mounting stuff since you don't have a cross brace. Just as an FYI, this bike is the ABS model. There's an ABS and a non-ABS version of these 300Ls. If you have the ABS model, I probably wouldn't recommend going much taller on your handlebar setup than this CR mid bend. We've had a couple customers tell us that the way the front brake line is routed, you can run into issues, you know, if you raise your handlebars too much. The CR mid works fine with both the brake line and your throttle cable, clutch cable, and stuff like that. If you have the non-ABS model, you can probably get away with a little bit taller handlebar, like maybe do a CR high. I think the Henry Reed bend would work on both ABS and non-ABS, but just kind of keep that in mind. But this CR mid seems to work fine with this bike. So that's what we did for the handlebars. We did Pro Taper pillow top grips. We did a G2 Tamer throttle tube, which is an aluminum throttle tube. We use them on all of our bikes. Has a removable end cap on it, so it works well with handguards and stuff like that. We left the Zeta Armor handguards on from our previous update, but we replaced the handlebar clamps that we had on it before with these top triple clamp mounts that Zeta makes. So they basically let you attach the inboard part of the handguard to the top triple clamp. So it just gives you a little bit stronger way to mount it, less stuff clamped onto your handlebars and stuff like that. So that's the Zeta handguard triple clamp mounts. Front mount style is what this bike uses. They have a side mount style and stuff like that. The CRF300L uses the front mount style. So that's kind of how we're doing our handlebars and handguards. Let's see, what else? I think we had the Zeta foot pegs on in the previous video, but if not, Zeta aluminum foot pegs in red. Much more comfortable than those stock pegs, much more durable, you know, wider platform to stand on, just a lot nicer foot peg than what comes with these bikes from the factory. Let's see, we did a Precision Racks cargo rack. I think that's Precision Racks. We don't sell those, but I think that's what we went with. And then we're running the Nelson Rig or Rig Gear Enduro tail bag. And then they have a fuel bottle holder that they make that straps onto the top of that. It'll hold like we've got a Primus fuel bottle in there, holds like a liter of fuel. So that's kind of nice. You can carry a little bit of extra fuel around. You know, these bikes have a little 2-gallon gas tank on them, so a little bit of extra fuel is nice. So that's Nelson Rig stuff. I think they also call it Rig Gear, is more of their off-road line of gear. Let's see, what else? Tires. We swapped out the stock IRCs. I wasn't a big fan of those. We've done Michelin Anarchy Wilds front and rear. We used these on our WR250R project bike at one point, and I really like those tires, so I went with those on this bike as well. 120, 80, 18 size in the rear, and then a 90, 90, 21 in the front. So if you're looking for a set of 50-50 tires, you know, half off-road, half street, these are one of your better options in my opinion. So that's a Michelin Anarchy Wilds. At the same time, you know, our stock chain was fine, but we replaced it with the DID 520 ERVT, which is what we use on all of our dual sport bikes. So if you're looking for a real high quality replacement chain, definitely give these DID 520 ERVTs a look. We carry them in gold. Also did the Zeta chain guide. Replaces that stock chain guide. It's anodized red. Just looks a little bit better. Stock gearing so far, we haven't messed with the gearing yet, so I've got stock sprockets front and rear for now. At the first oil change, did the Zeta oil filter cover since we swapped out the oil filter. That's just an anodized red filter cover. Protection, Flatland Racing skid plate, nice aluminum skid plate. And we also did their radiator guard as well, which is give you a little extra protection on your radiator. So that's Flatland Racing. I think that's about it that we've done on this second update. Some of the other things we've got planned, we've got a Yoshimura RS4 full exhaust, ready to go on. That's going to be one of the next things we do. And at the same time, we're going to do either the JD jetting or EJK EFI controller. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully IMS is going to have a 3-gallon fuel tank available soon. I talked to them and they were thinking hopefully January or February of 2022. So coming up here shortly. We're definitely going to do that. I've got Seat Concepts comfort seat on order. Got a bunch of them on order. Those should be coming in anytime now. And then obviously suspension mods, I'm going to be researching that. We're going to do something with the rear shock and the front suspension because I think that's the bike's probably biggest weak point is the suspension. So I think that's about it for now. Again, if you have any questions or comments, definitely post a comment down below. Try to monitor those. I'll get back to you as soon as I can on that. If you want to shoot us an email, our email address is on the website. It's probably the best way to get a hold of us. And if you found this video helpful, give us a like. And if you want to see more CRF300L videos, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to do some periodic updates here and there. So I think that's about it for now. Again, it's Brett from SRmoto and our Honda CRF300L project bike. Thanks for watching.